Hello and welcome to the Climate Cafe podcast, where we discuss the latest developments and innovations in climate change and sustainability. My name is Deepthi and I'm joined by my co-host Vidya, and our podcast serves as a platform to educate, inspire and raise awareness about climate change among our listeners. So in today's episode, we have a very special guest with us, Vishakha Chandhere, who is the founder and CEO of Orja Box, a social enterprise that promotes sustainable living through green cooking, waste management, and upcycling.
We will delve into her work, explore her perspectives on current climate change challenges, and showcase her vision for a more sustainable future. We will also talk about some practical tips and ideas on including sustainability in our day-to-day lives. This episode is relevant to everyone who cares about the environment and wants to positively impact the planet.
So welcome, Vishakha. We're so excited to have you on the podcast. So first, could you please introduce yourself a little bit? I know we just went on for a bit about everything that you do, but we'd love to hear from you about your background and what you did to establish OrjaBox and how you got there.
Hello, Deepthi and Vidya and everyone on the podcast. It's a great pleasure to share my experience about climate change and sustainability. So, Deepthi, I began my career in electrical engineering and I interned with a solar company while I was completing my studies, and that is where I got introduced to the concept of renewable energy, using sun's energy for heating water, for cooking food, for generating electricity and all of those things. And I was very fascinated by that, and that is where the journey began. And as I hopped on jobs and traveled and looked around with how people are cooking and how people are including energy into day-to-day life, I really felt the need to promote renewable energy more and more, because then there's very little information available about how we can include renewable energy in day-to-day life. Most people think that it's only the large projects that might, be the most impactful, but smaller efforts do count. And that is where I went on collecting solar cookers. Then I got introduced to biogas. Then I got introduced to briquetting. And then I realized it's a whole new world of converting all the available waste resources into energy and use it effectively. So, and that's how OrjaBox was conceptualized. I was very lucky to find a like-minded partner, Dr. Priyadashini Kalme, who also has similar learned experiences about cooking with renewable fuels. Her experience is quite wide and vast in this sector, and together we founded OrjaBox. So it began where we started conducting awareness sessions on using renewable fuels for cooking, and now we have a whole platter of things around that.
No, absolutely. I think that's really fascinating that you come from an engineering background and you're working on something very related to climate change now. But just for our listeners who don't know exactly what OrjaBox is, could you fill us in on exactly what OrjaBox is and what you guys do and what kind of services you offer?
Yes, certainly. So OrjaBox started with a mission that everyone who cooks should be able to cook at least one meal using renewable fuel. And that effort would actually reduce carbon emissions from the cooking sector, make cooking a lot more healthier, tastier, easier for all of us. As we progressed further, we introduced solar dryers, we introduced a whole lot of other elements to it, like a few solar lights. And now we have a kitchen that runs completely using renewable fuels. We help people to convert their kitchens into green kitchens, use all the waste material available. So we have an array of solar cookers, we have biogas, we have biochar, which is made from garden waste and coconut shell waste, and all of that is converted into briquettes, and we have cook stoves working on briquettes. So overall we have 3 to 4 different kinds of fuels that help us to cook with renewable fuel.
Interesting. I think the services which OrjaBox is providing is like something which is need of the hour right now. So Vishakha, like starting a social enterprise comes with own set of challenges. Can you tell us a little about the hurdles you faced in the early days of Orja Box and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so when we started talking to people about running a kitchen without LPG, and I first and foremost, I have a kitchen which where I do not have an LPG connection at all. So my kitchen runs completely 24/7, 365 days on renewable fuels. But when I started talking about this concept to people, many people had not even seen a solar cooker. Many people thought that biogas was only suitable for rural areas who had cattle. And so there were a lot of conceived ideas about who should be using renewable fuels and how they should be used. So not many people were aware about the capability of renewable fuels for cooking in any area wherever there is some sort of waste available or resources available, not necessary that you have sunlight 24/7. So there were these notions around, and then starting an enterprise out of it was another challenge. That okay, this is fine, you can go on promoting this, but do you think it will be a viable business? Do you think people will buy this? Do you think people would pay you for the awareness events that you're conducting? So these were the next challenges. So we had to design it, package it in such a way, market it in such a way that people actually liked the concept, and it was more about confidence building and trust building between the end users and technology providers. That yes, this technology works and it is useful for today. Linking it and also highlighting the climate aspect of it. That why is it important to do? Why are we really emphasizing so much on using renewable fuels for something like cooking? And so that was another challenge, letting people know about climate change. Because many people, either are ignorant about climate change, or people who know about climate change are tend towards desperate, being desperate that okay, now we cannot do anything about it, and so it's difficult to take any action. Whatever we do, it might not even contribute towards anything. So why take some actions, or why do this? So these were the challenges on the thinking front, operational front also, getting the cookers, setting up the supply chain, financially also. So OrjaBox is right now bootstrapped. We have not taken any loans or grants or investment as such yet. But when we try to scale up, maybe yet we want to go for it. So that would be another stage of challenge. So, and the technologies that are there, they need a lot of automation, they need a lot of innovation, and there are not enough people who are aware about the needs of innovation of the sector. Though it's a huge sector, if unlocked through innovation and improved devices, it might be really an interesting area with a huge market potential. Step by step, we are trying to overcome these challenges. I would not say that we have yet addressed all the challenges. There are a lot more.
So I think the lack of awareness is one of the key hurdles while we want to create a change in the society. So being a female entrepreneur, you must be having a different set of challenges which you faced in your early days. So do you want to emphasize on that?
I mean, there were challenges and there were advantages also. So on the challenges front, it was that, people feel that, she's starting something, but she might not continue doing this, considering the family responsibilities or, other challenges that she might face on maybe occupational fronts or operational fronts, whether if it involves too much of physical activity, maybe she might not sustain going forward. And we are a 100% women-led organization, women-run organization. So why many people also thought that, especially people who are working in the startup sector thought that, okay, this is good because the government is supporting a lot of women entrepreneurs in different ways, so maybe this is good. But when it comes to sustainability, whether it will sustain going forward. So there were, again, these biases that were there. And apart from that, in the sector itself, we have not faced many challenges. In fact, it was an advantage because so far what has happened is that many people in the clean cooking sector are men, and there are very few women who are talking about cooking. So far the challenge and success of the clean cooking sector has been that because men are talking about cooking, there is a natural disconnect between the technology and the end users. So we have seen that difference, like when we talk about cooking, there is more receptivity, more people want to listen, and they want to explore that. Okay, someone who cooks daily is talking about this, so it might be useful like that.
That is really interesting to hear, because you're so right, because the market for people who do cook the most is women, right, in the society that we live in. So it completely makes sense that you guys, as a completely women-led organization, speaking to women who actually need this advice, are going to have a more significant impact, I guess. Obviously, it comes with its own set of challenges, but it's been really good to hear that being a woman entrepreneur and having this female-led business also actually has triumphs and advantages as well. I just wanted to ask you, do you have any specific stories or moments that stand out? Or any moments during the establishment and running of this business that kind of made you kind of pause and go, wow, this is awesome that we're like this woman-led business, we're helping other women. I just want to hear some anecdotes from you.
Yeah, so the best part was that, locally we have employed nearly 5 women so far. So they were 3 of them had never worked anywhere, and because we started OrjaBox at this location, they were very glad that okay, we got local employment. Otherwise, we would, and they could take care of their kids as well, because they were living in the vicinity itself. So that was one thing, that was very satisfying, that we are creating local employment. Second was when we connected with the farmers for the solar dehydrating part that we are doing. And so now in the local vegetable market or the farmers with whom we work, there's a very nice connect that has formed between us, that they know that, we need the best quality of the vegetable for dehydrating, and they're very curious about why am I buying so much from them, and what am I doing? Is there really an industry out there who's going to use this dehydrated products? So introducing new tech actually is very fascinating to these people. And also when we conduct events for schools programs out to those moments are really the most cherishable moments for us, where they come in and they see the food cooking, when they actually see that, okay, the rice is being cooked in front of us, or the vegetable is being cooked in front of us, or cake is being baked, the joy on their faces, like, oh, this is what we need to do. And, many children and college students have said that, whenever they are in a position to buy, when they buy something, they would really want to buy either solar cookers or maybe biogas, or they feel that, this is something important, this is something that our generation needs. So those moments are really important for it.
So I'm hearing you say that the people are the most fulfilling part of this. Is that correct? Just working with the people?
Absolutely. Yes. Working with people of all, in every walk of life. We have industries visit, we have had students visit, we have had farmers visit, and we can see that, how overarching this is. Like, it's not particularly just for one sector. Everyone is able to connect with them. So when we started, we really didn't have this vision, that whether we really didn't envision this, that so many people would be able to connect with our work. But
that's so inspirational to hear. That's really about the people, because I think a lot of times we forget that the main reason we're doing all of this is to have an impact on the people who need it most, right? You really emphasize the importance of incorporating sustainability into our daily lives. But I just wanted to pick your brain a little and see if you can share some practical tips for our listeners on how they can make simple but impactful changes in their own routines that can be small or big.
Yes, definitely. A few tips I would like to say, first and foremost, is waste segregation, because for our biogas plants, we use food waste available in the kitchen, and unless you segregate the waste, you cannot use it in the biogas. So the very first step, whenever you have the opportunity to use biogas, you would be ready if if you have already started segregating your waste. So waste segregation and then maybe using it for compost right now, and whenever you switch on to biogas, maybe using it in the biogas. Apart from that, utilizing the sun's energy. There are small off-grid lights available which can be used in washrooms, always, your verandas or your parking lots. So if you have an opportunity to include, small solar lights, if possible, like reading lights, torches, maybe you should really look at those opportunities where you can include solar light. And for cooking and dehydrating, there are very small dehydrators available of half a kg capacity or something even below that. You can start dehydrating at your own place, enough wherever you need around 2 to 3 hours of sunlight, and you can do that. Using bucket for cooking or that type of thing, not wasting food. There are a number of things, like sharing food. And so if we have a sustainable kitchen survey questionnaire that is there where there are around 15 parameters that can help you to make your kitchen sustainable, like even growing your own food. I'm not saying like everything, but at least 2 or 3 herbs or vegetables in your kitchen garden, having a small kitchen garden wherever possible, sharing food, not wasting it, doing a refrigerator audit where you see into your refrigerator that a lot of expired items are there, or items that are lying in the fridge for a long time. Maybe just a weekly refrigerator audit is very essential, which helps to preserve food, conserve food, to reduce wastage and save cost. So a lot of things.
Wow, that's so many ways we can incorporate sustainability, right? I'm sure that most of our listeners have heard many of these tips. And I just wanted to ask you, what are some challenges about living sustainably? I find that it's kind of hard to pick the more sustainable option when plastic packaged things and not really as sustainable things are so easy and accessible. I just wanted to know if you could share some more insight about other challenges and how to kind of overcome them when making sustainable choices.
Definitely. So making sustainable choices needs a lot of conscious effort, because we are used to living in a particular way, and to change the way we are living or alter our behavior needs conscious effort. So that is the first and foremost challenge that I face, that many times we are not aware that this is something that is unsustainable. So for example, we are aware of only simple things. Whenever we interact with people, we find that most of them, when we talk to them, try to understand their idea of sustainability, they say plant-free. That is the foremost thing that people talk about. But when we talk about, okay, what are the ways in which you would like to reduce your waste, you think it is sustainable action. So they are not able to relate to it. That how is reducing waste related to sustainability, or reducing use of water for that matter, or reducing wastage of water. So how is that possible? And when it comes to using sustainable technologies, people think they are very costly, or sustainability is something that has to be, or sustainable products, devices, services have to be costlier. So it is not something that everyone can afford. So that is another myth, because it reduces your operational costs a lot. So cost and consciousness are the two main challenges that we think are big challenges for people to adopt us.
Absolutely. I think consciousness and awareness, as we talked earlier, is so important to bring change in the society. And I wanted to know from you that what is the importance of green cooking and waste management, and can you provide some insights into why green cooking is essential at this point of time, and how it can contribute to sustainability?
So green cooking actually reduces our dependency on external fuels. So if you see that almost 50% of our cooking fuel, that is LPG, is imported LPG. So, and another thing is the ever increasing cost of the cooking fuel that is there. This is for the people who use LPG, people who are cooking with solid biomass. For them, the fuel is freely available, but it is a very healthy option when it comes to the eyesight or the heart health, cardiovascular health. So, and plus it's a very effort intensive activity to cook with solid biomass fuels on inefficient cook stove. So in both cases, if we use renewable fuels, we address a lot of challenges. One is that we reduce our dependency on other fuels. We become self-reliant about our own fuels. We are generating our own fuel. Second, we are also addressing waste management. Third, we are reducing costs of cooking. Fourth, we are able to have the control over our own quantities of fuel that is being used. We are able to create local employment also out of it. So there are a lot of aspects associated with clean cooking, and which helps to improve our local economy also at large. So I believe that looking at all of the benefits that cooking with renewable fuels has to offer, these are the incentives why we should be moving towards cooking with renewable. And of course, we get tasty and healthy food. We cannot really forget that.
No, definitely. And I can't help but notice that you're talking about how it's better for your health not to cook over like wood fire, to have green cooking solutions, that's promoting the local economy, boosting employment. Then I just remembered what you said about how you're a completely woman-led organization, and the fact that it's mostly women who do the cooking, and the fact that you're employing local women, right, shows that this is like a beacon of like gender inclusivity and gender equality, as well as like a sustainable endeavor. So I think that's really amazing to hear how it's kind of advocating gender equality just as it is,
Yeah, I mean, these are all aspects, but also we need to work on the innovation part of it, because right now we are able to reach only a few people. Only a few people are able to understand all the aspects associated with it and adopt the technology. So innovation on all fronts is actually the need of the art in the cooking sector.
Yeah, absolutely. You're so right there. Yeah, and you briefly mentioned waste management there again. And we also already talked about how we, as listeners, can incorporate some waste management into our own lives. But I wanted to ask a little bit more about specific sustainability or waste management things that you do in your life, and how you kind of incorporate sustainability and waste management and so on.
Yeah, definitely. So first is I have a biogas plant which uses kitchen waste as the fuel. So whatever cooked food or raw waste vegetables, or or even people who come to bring the kitchen waste from their homes, and all of that goes into the biogas, and the biogas then gives us cooking fuel, and the slurry that comes out of the biogas is used as manure for the tree plant. We also give it to some nurseries around. So it's a completely circular thing, nothing goes and then we use the garden waste. We have a tie-up with 2 restaurants, local restaurants here, from whom we collect coconut shells, and we convert the garden waste and the coconut shell waste into briquettes. We have cook stoves which use these briquettes as fuel, and so that again, that's another type of waste that is used for generating energy. And then we have solar cookers that usually the sunlight that will go waste on the terrace is trapped into our solar cookers, then we get food cooked out of it. So a lot of waste is reduced, converted to energy, and used as cooking fuel. And we also compost. That waste is available even after using the biogas and other that goes for composting, and then again goes as manure for plants. So that is one very important aspect. And apart from that, we try to recycle almost everything that is available. For example, after the burning the briquettes in the cook stove, the ash is available. So whenever we have from a local vegetable market, lemons which go waste, or the other things that go waste, so we bring those ingredients and we make washing soaps out of it. So there is no end to how much you can do, and we have been trying and experimenting on a lot of these things, and we have been fairly successful. A long way to go yet, but it is fun, and we have realized that yes, there's so much that we can just recycle and do.
Yeah, I think the waste management part which you talked about right now. So, I think, small contribution also helps a lot in the environment. And speaking of this, which you now talked about the work which you guys are doing, I can't help to stress on the fact that how busy it would be for you guys, and how do you manage everything? How, what is your mantra for the work life balance, and what's your point on stress management, and how you pursue that topic?
Work life management for me, it has now got a bit easier because we have set a cycle of work. We have done the prioritization, and we have a cycle of how things move seasonally also, daily also. So that on the operational front, things have eased a little bit. But since we are now trying to move out in other geographies and expand our work, that the time that we freed up has now been occupied by the expansion work. But yeah, I just feel that prioritizing and better communication just helps to do the time management and work-life balance. And because I do not work from my workplace and the demonstration place is the same, and I live there as well. So that makes things easier for me when family.
Interesting. I think prioritizing things and strategizing work and an effective communication within the team plays a major role in work-life balance and stress management.
No, absolutely. I'm really glad to hear that it's gotten easier for you recently. I completely find it difficult to also sometimes separate work and life, because I usually used to work from home. So I totally get what you mean about having everything being in the same location can be easy too. But I also feel like it comes with some challenges, because you work so much of the community, you're doing all this stuff, and you work in the same place, you live in the same place. What are some specific things you do to kind of take a break and completely switch off from work stuff and go on to life stuff? Do you have a self-care routine? What are some things you like to do to unwind?
Reading, I enjoy. Every day, that's my daily dose of unwinding. I like to read a lot. Apart from that, catching up with friends and a little bit of travel, though I am not able to travel too much because there are limitations that I can't move out of this place alone. And as there are a lot of visitors who come on weekend, but then I do find time to sneak out with friends.
No, you're so right. I think having those little pockets of peace is so essential to make sure that you can keep going and continue working in this super interesting area. So before we conclude today, Vishakha, I wanted to ask you, do you have a vision for the future of sustainability? What is something you envision in the future as we work towards a greener and more sustainable world?
I have a vision which many people might call weird. So my vision is, we are talking about a $1 trillion economy, or that. My vision would be that if trillion, money is not the sign of development, but how close to nature, or how sustainably are you living, and how much have you reduced the cost of living by living sustainably, should be the marker of a sustainable world. So I would not really want to have a $1 trillion economy, but I would really want to say that with the existing resources, we are able to increase the life of resources by 50 years or whatever. And because of that life expansion of our resources, we have added so much to the economy. So yeah, it's kind of twisted, but basically, to put it very simply, I would want to reduce the cost of living and for living sustainable.
I don't think that's a weird vision at all. I completely agree with you there. I think that's something that we should strive towards, because I do think that the cost of living and these like corporate capitalistic tendencies do tend to hold us back in ensuring that everyone has access to sustainable development, you know? I completely agree with you.
Thank you, Dipti. I'm so glad that there's someone who really believes that.
It's very interesting to learn about your vision, what you're envisioning for the future, and that's totally meaningful. It's not at all weird. And I also wanted to last thing I wanted to ask you if you have anything which you want to pass on to our listeners or the young generation who are stepping into this field.
Yes, definitely. I would really want to suggest that choosing sustainable option is very important for the next generation, so that they live comfortably with available resources. They should take a sustainable option. They should choose the sustainability sector for their careers, for innovation, for their daily life possible, as an important thing to do, not as a fashion, not as something that has scope in the future, and nothing that someone has imposed upon them, but truly understand the nuances of sustainability and the challenges that they're going to face.
Thank you so much, Vishakha, for sharing your thoughts, and also for joining us today and for sharing your amazing work and insights with us. We have learned a lot from you, and we hope our listeners did too. And you're truly an inspiration for us and to everyone who cares about the environment and sustainability.
It was a pleasure talking to with a few, and I hope that more and more people would choose sustainability, and you are doing a fantastic job of taking your step forward to conveying the messages to people. So you both are doing a great job. Congratulations to you and your climate solution for that.
Yes, thank you so much, Vishakha, for agreeing to be our guest on this Climate Cafe podcast. It's been a delight talking to you, and I was so interested to hear about your passion and vision for a more sustainable future. I think that is something that's truly aspirational. And as Vidya said, I really do hope our listeners also enjoyed this episode as much as we did recording it. And we invite everyone to share their feedback, questions, and suggestions with us. You can reach us through our website, our social media, and you can also find information and resources about OrjaBox on their website and social media, and we'll leave a link in the description box below.
Thank you so much, and to our listeners, stay tuned for more candid conversation in our Climate Cafe. Until then, take care of yourself and our planet.